see if you remember it, folks. They never knew the title of it, but they all wrote about it.
I just wanted to say before I read this though that after hearing everybody, your ideas about what you're going to do, and I know that some of you might change because you're saying it's just kind of starting this program. It's going for 6 months, but you're going to really get to know each other here. So it just kind of just something that's not really connected, but it reminds me of it for some reason. Was that I've done a lot of anti-racism work, and sometimes it will be just almost all white people, but sometimes there will be a lot of Native people and brown people. So then when I would ask them to do things, usually always give a choice to Native people who want to be alone together to do exercises, right? And or with the other brown people in the group. So they usually end up all in one group, and then the other group is all non-Native people, all white people. And when I ask them to just say to do something, to get an exercise today, to answer a question or whatever, maybe it's kind of like some of the stuff that you've been doing. And every single time the Native people and color in one group always work as a group. They'll come up with something usually visual for the group to see, and everybody did it together. Whereas if the non-Native white people, they each do their own. So if there's 15 of them, they'll do 15 different things. And then over here, there's one. So it just made me think, this is a group. You're all here for a reason. You came here together for a reason. And you're a group. You're all done. So when you're all done, when if you end up supporting each other in your success, somehow, some way, stay in touch. It sounds like from some of these things, it sounds like you got them all here. Different things happening, and just help each other out to succeed.
I'd like to point out too, before she reads this one, it is very unusual. When I've been doing these dialogic sessions for 21 years, normally people will never identify themselves as the person who wrote something. This is the first time I've been in a group where each time I read, somebody says, I wrote that. It's really quite remarkable.
Okay, you guys can get the title of this? No, it's not too exciting. It's called Out of the Corner of My Eye. Sometimes you just think you see something that's right there in the corner of your eye, and then you look, it's gone. Like that. Out of the corner of my eye. You can tell a lot about a person by how they treat their eagle feathers when they're helping others, said a gifted Algonquin warrior woman. Some treat their eagle feathers rough, pick hard with them, shake them feathers till they're tattered and ruined. That door shut tight against the helpers on the other side. Others feed their feathers, smudge them, care for them, hang them on a wall, treat them real gentle when they help others. Eagle feathers are gifts type, direct from the other side. They're here to teach us how to treat our children when eagle feathers are. Treat our children real gentle. Don't shake them, hit them, hurt them in any way. Our children are our greatest teachers in this life, direct the other side. It's the children we're here to always keep in our thoughts. Their safety, their survival. The children choose us as parents, aunties, uncles, cousins, grandparents. not the other way around. The stories are our ancestors, join with us in our time, love us, care for us, speak through us, eh? Though we may not know this at the time.
Well, this was, for me, who had the privilege of reading all of them, this was quite interesting. The journey of the Change It Up members. Here's an example, Ms. Proulx-Turner. And again, it's the same method. Read it one time, one word, read it 2 times, write a sentence, read it 3 times, write a paragraph, read it 4 times, write stream of consciousness. Well, here's the stream of consciousness of one of the Change It Up seminar members. I think this story is great for teaching others about the feathers. And that is how you treat your children. If you treat your feathers rough, then you will treat your children rough. If you take good care of your feathers, you will take good care of your children. And that children and grandchildren are gifts. And I think it should be taught to everyone. For the white people, it could not be about the feather, but something like how to treat your Ferrari, or even your horse. This would be great for many teachings on the this, what you had written, would be great for many teachings on the reserve and off the reserve. I believe a lot in the feather, and its meaning should be taught in an everyday environment from morning to night before you go to bed. I believe the feather means that you're connected to the Great Spirit. With that feather, you own. And with that, you're connected with the Great Spirit with all the children you have. They wrote a tweet about this. Tweet. Read this to your children. I recommend this to everyone, and to teach this every day. Maybe to even print it out and add feathers to it, then frame it and hang it on your wall so that you can see it every day. Now there's an entrepreneurial idea, folks, and I hope one of you is going to pick up on it. And others to read it when they come to visit you, and they will see it every time they see you. They titled your work, Feathered Children. The meaning? The feathers are the children. You treat them the way you treat your children. My definition of, and each time I ask them to define a word in a text, I ask them for their own definition. How do you define heal? H-E-A-L. This is what they wrote. Heal. It means healing ourselves, healing others, and teaching others how to heal. How would you respond to that, Ms. Proulx-Turner?
I guess I have to come up with a new word. Amazing. It's really amazing. I mean, the story is not mine, but it comes from like I said, an Algonquin woman, and she told me the story when she's seen, she's at my house and she's seen that I had some feathers and they were in private place, but she's seen them there, and then she said I have to tell you this story. And what it was this guy came to the door of their house, her and her husband, and she lived in the res in Ontario, and she didn't know him, but she thought her husband knew him. And so she said he was a really tall, skinny guy, and he was just driving this old car. He was dressed in a 3-piece suit. She said, geez, that really surprised her. And then he came in and he sat at the table, and she went and got her husband. She said, he's napping. She said, look up, there's some guy in the kitchen, cousin. And he comes out into the kitchen, and he goes, but that guy stayed there for like 5 or 6 hours, and all he did was talk. He ate an orange and talked. And they said that they realized is that he wasn't even from this world. And that's one of the things that he said was this about feathers. And she said that she never really told anybody about this guy and all the stuff he said. She said he said tons of stuff. And but she just felt weird about it, you know. And so then about maybe, I don't know, 10 years later, she was at a shaking tent ceremony. And there was this old man outside. And he says to her, "Hey, you, come over here." So she goes over and she says she's kind of nervous. And he says to her, "How come you never told nobody that story?" She's like, "What story?" He goes, "About eagle feathers. You were told to tell that story. So you tell that story," he told her. And he said, "When you tell that story, you tell that person that you tell it to tell that story. So it can be going around." So that's how that story came to me. So I think it feels like whoever wrote this heard the story the way that that man, that ancestor intended for it to be heard. And that's what
The only wrong question is the unasked question.
That was the story I understood.
just this weekend, there's this man who, there's a chief who's trying to clean up legs and he's trying to block people. And they just so happen to be going through really hard times right now. This man who's been voted in and he's trying to clean things up, making everybody work from 9 to 5, you know, trying to stop the embezzlement that's going on, and all kinds of other good stuff that he's trying to do. But then the council is not happy because things are so great down there. So they're trying to push him out. So he has to go to court this week for they're calling it conspiracy. Anyways, he went to see this man, this medicine man. The medicine man heard his story. He felt so bad for him that he gave him since many, many, many years ago. This man needs a sunrise. And he was crying and weeping because he said, you know, my dad always told me, when you give something that has, it's very hard to give. It's very late. So he told us when I felt this much. And then, the next day, which was yesterday, he was in a sweat lodge. Next thing you know, this woman had left. And she came back after like maybe 4 hours. She was on the road, and she went to the side road to leak. And she seen something, and she went over there, and there it was. So she went and got it, and she didn't know what to do with it. So they drove all the way back, and they got it, and they gave it to her. So he said, you know, yesterday I was so hurt and so because of that, he said my dad gave me the feather, which his dad gave me, and he said here today I'm rewarded tenfold because I never seen this. So he said it should be true.
And feather to all the children, people that are older.
You've given an eagle feather to everybody in the program?
Well, not feather.
That's neat. That's awesome. Way to go. Are these golden eagles? Or bald eagle?
Bald eagle.
Okay.
I looked at it because you said feathers, you translated as maple. Maple. That's 3 syllables, or 2 syllables, maple. Used to have an old fellow over here, he was long gone, but they rest in peace, but I was using the maple now. I didn't even keep saying feather. So I tried to translate whatever I can within my
Well, here's another person on that same piece of writing. In a stream of consciousness vein, they wrote, actions speak louder than words. How you treat everything around you is a reflection on yourself. Woman warrior is knowledge. Mother, daughter, aunt, Noka, there is much to be learned from a woman's perspective. Mother Earth, think in terms of being heard, how she cares for us all. Protection, guidance, love, care, kindness, discipline, unconditional love. We are all capable of these things. Now, I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I read that again, and think of that, what that person, it's up to you to reveal who you are, but that is a powerful statement. We are all capable of these things. How many people follow her ways? The eagle. The eagle feathers are her children, in a sense. Take care in everything you do. How you treat people. How you treat Mother Earth and our precious children. And she will take care of you. Their tweet about what you wrote, I get an easy, peaceful feeling as I read this. The feeling is quite gentle and loving. I wish to live in a world where this advice is taken to heart. They titled this Warrior Woman. It's like Mother Earth is giving precious, sound advice, and is also outlining harsh consequences if the words are disregarded, just like a mother does. And their definition of heal, H-E-A-L, mint green, smudge, self-acceptance, self-love, self-respect. Then extend that to my brother, my sister, with caring and kindness, because we all have the same pain to heal. How would you respond to that, Ms. Proulx-Turner?
One word, profound. It's a lot to take in.
Did you folks know that you could write like this?
Gee, and here you came here to learn how to be business people.
You might all leave artists.
Yeah.
Poets.
I'm gonna start up your own journal. Yeah, come up with a title, Lord knows. There's no titles here, but gee, wouldn't that be something if you came up with your own journal, like distributed it all over, reserve it?
Especially if they don't know what to say. Well, I'm not saying it, but they just say that legal, let's say if you introduced your own business in Cree, Cree too, because a lot of Crees, but it'll be the only unique sign that this is my business, so and so. Yeah. Me and them.
I've just come, since I last saw you, I've been at Augustana University College in Camrose. And on Friday morning, I was part of a panel about teaching and the key to teaching. In other words, the key to success as an educator. And what came out of that was the most important factor is storytelling. You've got to become a storyteller. And I believe that relates exactly to what you're doing in business and enterprise. become storytellers, and you'll make what you do an exciting venture. And more than money, but something that communicates values well beyond dollars and cents. The only wrong question is the unasked question. Would you like to ask Ms. Proulx-Turner a question about, because everybody wrote about the feathers. I mean, everybody. This was one piece of writing that we're not going to have time to read everything. It's just not possible. But I could read because something happened in the Change It Up group with this piece of writing. It resonated with everybody in a unique way. So I invite you to ask her a question for the time that we have with her now.
You've all received a feather already? Oh, a feather for the program.
It's not a question, but my mom's from the northwest coast of BC. So when we go up there, it's nice to go during the salmon run, because there's a village that's right on the river that leads into the ocean. And during the salmon run, my mom's auntie counted over 400 eagles on the beach. Gold eagles, bald eagles. So we go there and we pick up these feathers. And my dad started doing a sweat lodge up there, and my uncle started carrying it on. And my one uncle told my dad he found an eagle on the side of the road, so he buried it. And he told my dad, and my dad went to go find him, dig it up, took it home, ate it some more. And just been hearing the stories, like one lady found a dead eagle on the road. She threw it in the dump. Like, they don't know how important it is to us about eagles and eagle feathers. So now they save the feathers they find. So every time we go there, it's a big jar of stuff full of eagle feathers.
Here, when we do find, for instance, somebody did get an eagle with a vehicle or something, or if they find an engine on the side of the road, which can be, but us First Nations have first rights to that. Like, you can go say, well, we like to have this, ceremony. And they just give us that. And I believe there is like a list that we have put on.
Well,
Like-
here's the bottom.
Oh, I was just gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
like in the States, like they can get on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are
Fish
there
and
only the
wildlife.
States with that?
Yeah.
Well, we're on here. Because that one year, I got asked to be some eagle feathers for, a group that were graduating from a course. So I did all those eagle feathers. And then I asked the guy that approached me and wanted me to be those eagle feathers. I asked him where he got them, and that's how I knew that he set it up with the fishing game.
Yeah.
There's he was on the waiting list, so they had to go. Just right when that program started, he looked into it and it took that long just for him to get those eagle feathers because he was on this.
Well, here's another person, the same piece of writing, but a Change It Up member. Oh, Polly, do we have a question? The one word, one sentence. Well, the one word they had was grateful. The one sentence, a thought I have never considered. My babies are my eagle feathers. One paragraph, an adaptation that even an elder has told me. That not even an elder has told me. This is beautiful writing. And very true. Our children, grandchildren, are our eagle feathers. And they don't pick us parents. In my case, a single parent. Our children are our greatest teachers in life. It's so true. Stream of consciousness. Well, I'll just, because there's so much, I'm not going to be able to read everything. We'll move to the next one. Tweet. I think this was a great piece because of the hope. It makes people conscious of all the gifts they are and all the gifts the Creator gave them in every form of life. My definition of heal would be to make something whole again, to restore it to its original state, to make it better, or to make something better than it is. Then I'm going to do one more, and I'll invite you to comment and open it up again. One word, eagle. One sentence. The eagle feather has great significance in how we parent our children. One paragraph. The eagle feather tells us a story on how we should be treating our children as parents. We should love them, honor them, cherish them. We need to treat them with respect, show them off with pride, and remember, they are gifts. They choose us, and we need to remember that. We must also teach this to our children, so they will know when it is their time to be parents. Stream of consciousness. I really like this poem because of the great significance it uses. The eagle is very majestic, a strong, beautiful bird. Feathered, it has feathers of many shapes and sizes. These make the eagle who it is. They protect this amazing bird. Our children are a very good analogy of the feather. We must always take care of our children. Throughout our lives, we must protect them from harms that come their way. We must teach them right from wrong. It is common sense how we as parents should be raising our children in a good light. They follow by example. We must be good leaders so that they too will be strong like the eagle. Our children are not all the same, but we must treat them all the same, equal. It is true that it's not by a lecture when you are told to do something. It is teaching. There is a lesson as to why you are being told. So many times people get offended. But if we all listen, I'm sure life would be so much more simple. Our stories are told us using many of our animals, such as the bear, the wolf, the buffalo. I'm glad that the poet chose the eagle to use as the foundation of her story, to remind us that children are always important. Tweet, I loved this piece of writing. It is a great reminder on parenting. Sometimes we tend to forget that we can't mistreat our children, nor neglect. Share this story, is what I'm told. Interesting. Share this story, is what I'm told. And they had no idea that that's what the whole story is about. The title, My Precious Little Eagle Feathers. The reason I chose this title is because the poem is using the feathers as an analogy for our children, who are precious. My definition of heal, it means to overcome the trauma that you have experienced in your life. Letting go of hurts, pains, the negative, injuries, and remembering how to live in a healthy way. That's a lot to comment on, but we'll invite you to do so, Ms. Proulx-Turner.
me, it's a beautiful teaching that comes from a beautiful teaching. It's really perceptive and profound.
You're saying what that member wrote is a beautiful teaching that comes from the beautiful teaching of that piece of writing.
Yeah. Wow, I'm so lucky.
Well, we invite you to comment on that. And it's always up to you if you want to say if you wrote it. So, comments, questions. The only wrong question is the unasked question. Because our time is quickly moving on now, folks. Please. Ms. Roan?
What? Yes?
Yeah, have any of you ever seen a film called Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah.
Now, that film epitomizes the nightmare of a teacher. And for me, I love watching that film. Because in the classroom, all of a sudden, you know, the teacher's trying to get some energy going among the students. And do you remember what happens? Ask if there's a question. Anyone? Anyone? Do you remember that part? That's the teacher's worst nightmare. Anyone? Anyone? Do you folks have a question? Please. Make the most of the moment.
I don't really have a question, but I really think that should be, like, put on a plaque, framed for everybody to relate to.
That's an excellent idea. And of course it came from one of your fellow seminar members.
And I want to know who.
I think they identified themselves.
Yeah, awesome.
Do it.
How did you know about these twins?
Well, because we're busy.
I'm a single mom too, so,
Well, I'm not a single mom anymore, but, you know, I've experienced it.
yeah. I
But
wasn't
I
for a while.
also know these orphans of vigilante right from mom,
Yeah.
how society is the way it is because long parents forgot that or weren't taught that. And it really, your poem on that really, when I read it, it just warmed my heart. Made me proud.
Well, since we're in the context of entrepreneurship, who agrees with the idea of Ms. Lee that with the permission of the author, and of course it would take permission because it's a matter of intellectual property, that actually be framed and everybody have a copy and frame it and have it in their home? That teaching on the teaching of the feathers. That would be in the entrepreneurial spirit to do that.
I would agree with that. I would agree. But I'd rather that it's not my story, right? And it isn't her story. And she's told it now many times. And like parts of it is me because I wrote that other part in it. But that isn't even me. Because everything that we are comes from the past. So I would, yeah.
I want to throw that out to as a challenge to the Change It Up group. That you take these writings that we've just and frame it, and as a did he just do that? Yeah, he's got a dental appointment.
Do you want to shake my hand?
He's going to get a molar pulled out.
That's my brother.
Think of that, folks. Think of following up on that idea. It'd be part of the entrepreneurial spirit to do that.
Have you received any cultural backlash, from students about the feather or anything to do with cultural aspects of it?
No, I haven't. But I did write a book, it's called, just when I think about that, it's called, walks for days, inside 1,000 Eyes, Two Spirits story. It's a whole, like it's a long story. And they call it poetry, so it's not sewing. But I got a little bit from that, but only from one place. Because it has stories, and I got permission to tell them, but it's still, it really bothers people sometimes when they see a story of their people that is from a non-that nation. So even though I got permission to tell them, I'm only getting it from the elders, but it doesn't mean it's not going to affect someone. So,
My dad always says, look at the message, not the messenger. I think that's really important for everybody to consider. Everybody has something to offer.
I mean, some of our stories are protected, and there are stories that weren't told, but other ones are meant to be told.
Well, here's the same story, but a different member of the seminar. One word, respect. I like it. Reminds me of Aretha Franklin. One sentence. We were chosen. One paragraph. How a person treats their eagle feathers is how they treat their children. Our children chose us, not the other way round. It is the same with the stories. They choose us. And it is how we are going to treat those stories. How can we learn from our children and from our stories? It is true. How you treat your children is how they will treat others. They are a miniature version of ourselves. How we speak to them is how they will speak to others. There is no such thing as bad kids, just bad parents. Some of our kids are disrespectful because of their parents. Their parents are like that to them because that is how they were treated as children themselves. They were treated like this in the residential schools. How do we break the cycle? How do we begin the healing? Our children are our greatest teachers because the child speaks the truth. They are the honest beings in our world, and our children are our future. If we raise them with respect, then they will respect others. As a mother, I will do anything to protect my child from harm. But at the same time, they need to learn to walk on their own. We teach them the basic skills and knowledge on how to get through life. And we hope that they can make the most of it. It is the same with stories. It's our responsibility to care for our stories, how they are being told, how they are treated. How you treat your eagle feathers is how you treat your children and your stories. Our children are us, and they are our teachers. Title, My Eagle Feathers. I chose this because the first part of the story is about how you treat your eagle feathers is how you treat your children. So, my eagle feathers is my children. My definition of heal, the ability to let old wounds recover and to let the pain go. How would you respond to that, Ms. Proulx-Turner?
Well, the first thing that comes to me is that I wish that when I was young, like when I was a young mother, I wish that I could have read something. I think it would have really helped me to, I guess maybe ground me. I guess it's kind of grounded. It's very, it says so much in such a short paragraph. That'd be a good thing to put on your fridge. Yeah, it's very, very
whoever wrote it, we invite them if they want to say who they are and want to pursue the dialogue. Would you like to elaborate a little more, Ms. Cryer, on it?
It is emotional. It's true. I had a hard time with my first one. I didn't treat him good, but I am learning now, so I need to study if I can pass for him. So, something like that.
Thank you for sharing. There's one thing about this week that we've had together. It's what I call reality-based education. No one's helped by pretending we don't have any problems. The real challenge in life is to face those problems, to name them, to call them what they are, and to deal with them. And part of the dealing with them is to get it out there through the words. And that's what you've done. I have to say it's remarkable. I've done this for 21 years. Never have I had a group where each person said, I wrote. Never, never, never. So we're breaking new ground here. And remember what we said at the very beginning? All we're looking for is honesty. It really is the best policy. Questions, comments, observations as our time is quickly going by. We invite you.
I would just like to say thank you so much for sharing that. Very personal. I think it tells a lot of our stories. And I knew my mom too. She was raised in such violence in foster care. And then we knew her mom. They were just pulled out of the home. Because they were, just little brown kids who were living in the city and just and then white foster homes on farms where they got treated really bad. And we knew our grandmother, she suffered all her years because she didn't have kids. She found out where they were, she didn't hardly see them. They were really, they never knew. So, but we knew her better than our mom. And to learn from our moms and our dads. I mean, your generation, thank you. There's so many here who especially the young ones, who you are our future leaders. You're all our future leaders. I'm not really that old, but the ones that know. And then they think teenagers are good. But to recognize, like if there's one thing that we can do as people, is we are capable of change.
Change it up.
Yeah, the program is called, right? So, and we have that ability.
To break the cycle and to break new ground.
400 Eagle Woman.
Well, it's the same piece of writing, but get a load of this, Ms. Proulx-Turner. One word, interesting. One sentence. I really like this quote. It is my most favorite one because it is another teaching that I love to learn. One paragraph. Incidentally, as an educator, I love to hear that expression. I love to learn. One paragraph. This story reminds me of my own family, whom I don't speak with. They taught me things without even speaking to me. I learned not to hate, to accept people the way they are, and not hold grudges because people make mistakes. I learned that your past will always stay in the past, and you should learn from it, and that not everything is your fault. Things happen for a reason. I've learned some of the most important lessons from my family because they do the exact opposite. They talk about you behind your back for no apparent reason. So this poem makes me realize that I must forgive my family as well as accept them. And that they're in my life for a reason. But they should smarten up for their kids. Stream of consciousness. This poem makes me feel calm and understanding of the world around me. I am not a parent, though I know I will be one day. I had a dream that I had a son the Creator gave me one night. Although I somewhat know what it feels like to have children and to care for them, love them, and sometimes discipline them, I pretty much raised my two brothers and taught them how to love, to give them the attention they needed. Now I cannot live without my brother, because they shaped me as a person, not to be angry quickly, and to have patience. That having a sister or a brother is a relationship until death, until the next life. I miss my brothers every day. I miss them so much, it makes me want to cry. I have an eagle feather given to me by one, since no one else is stepping up. Oh, excuse me. I have an eagle feather given to me as an award I once received. It was for being a young leader in this Hobbema community. And I do want to be one, since no one else is stepping up. For a long time, I left my eagle feather in the wooden box I received it, so as to keep it protected. But I finally hung it up. It seems to flutter sometimes from being blown or something, but there is no air or draft, which mystifies me. Just like this poem. The tweet, children are gifts from the Creator. Tweet, love your life. Title, the Creator's gifts. I chose to name it this way because the poem is pretty much about children, and eagle feathers come from eagles who are said to be our ancestors manifested. My definition of heal, to become balanced, happy, and joyous again. To be able to be balanced in the medicine wheel. To be from sickness to health, sadness to happiness, pain to relief, and to move from grief to understanding.
Wow. You know, listening to that, it really got me, you know how sometimes it's hard to listen to something because your own thoughts are getting in the way? And I had to keep coming back to listening because it was making me think about my sister, my sisters, and something that's happened in my own life. And it's something that can do that. You know, there's such a difference between something that's written and you read it, and then you hear it. And because I don't know, like, woo-hoo, just, when I'm here today, I can't even tell you how many times I get goosebumps. Just listening to the words. And, oh, hi.
Hi.
This is my ride.
Please come join the circle.
She likes to ride my little red pony. My name is Sandy Smokey.
Thank you for coming. Yeah.
And you're?
Cornett's.
I like that name even better.
Anyways, I just really learned a lot from hearing that, what I just heard. And I was telling, I just told them that whatever, just what I just heard, what you didn't hear, but it made me think of my sister. That I was telling you that story on the weekend. And I have the opportunity to see a sister this weekend that I haven't seen for 24 years. Told I look just like her. And she's older than me. But in 1989, when I wrote that book that I told you about, called Where the Rivers Join, I didn't, my family didn't hate it or anything, but writing it gave me the courage to go and speak to my dad about my childhood. But when that happened, he banished me from the family, and then everybody, my sisters and brothers, all banished me also, and my kids. So we haven't been a part of my family, which is a big family, close family, which we were. So you know that that's a big secret in the family when. And but it was so many years of so much grief, and to just meet my sister that way, I'm going to Vancouver. My niece is in Victoria, like the kids, and nieces and nephews have contacted me, and not the parents. So to go, all I can think of is I'm going to go to my nieces. I'm not going to have a car. I'm going to be on Vancouver Island, you know, blah blah blah. And do I want to go see my sister for the first time in 24 years and not be able to drive away and and I'm thinking, as I listen to that, though, I learned something. And what I learned is, like even growing up, my grandmother used to tell us, like I think I even said this to you today, she tells me all this stuff that I don't know if you did or not, but your brothers, the way that I was raised is that when you have children, their dad is actually your brothers, not the dad. Because you can always get a new husband, but you can never get a new brother. So the brother is always the dad, the grandpa of the children, of your children. And just the importance of family, or right, wrong, or whatever. So now I'm thinking, if I have the opportunity to see my sister, then I should darn well do it. Gee!
And that's a result of having just heard that piece of writing
Yes.
by one of the seminar members.
Yes. So whoever you are, thank you. Aww. Healer you.
That was actually really tough to write. Really tough to write. So, I had to, in order to heal, going through something, I had to be in a good place in my life. You know, you can't get better if things still functioning. So, for my own good, to survive, I had to do it. It's tough to do that, but when you go back to that, you know who are the ones who will always be there for you. Your parents that will give back as much as you love them.
We talked last week, remember, about getting chronological distance and psychological distance. And that can do us a lot of good. So I can understand what you're saying there, Ms. Ralston. Now, folks, we have one last unit, but I think we need to get a little fresh air. So this time we'll take a 5-minute break. Please keep it to 5.
2 cigarettes in 5 minutes?
Yeah.